Now, is there a dark horse lurking in the midst of the outsiders in the betting for World Cup glory? Is there, of course, a Greece who won the Euros, didn't they, a few years ago at a massive price? Let's go to Steve Freeth from Bet365, who's joined me here in the studio on the Free Super Tips World Cup preview. Steve, obviously, the big six stand out, but who do you think might be under the radar still? Who's still a big price, perhaps, to go all the way this year?
Group A is very weak, and so many question marks about Russia. I think that Uruguay are capable of going deep into the tournament.
About 33s?
Yeah, they just tick a lot of boxes for me, Anthony. The group being one, they've got a settled manager. Fourth World Cup, it's an experienced squad for them. Fourth World Cup. They've got a good start as well, Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Russia last as well, I think they'll be through by there. Second to Brazil in qualifying. I think that was a great performance to get there. And I'm not even mentioning Cavani and Suarez yet, of course, who, from a top goal scorer point of view, maybe a bit of a negative because they'll probably share the goals around, which is a bit of a blow. Been question marks about their midfield in the past. I think they've put that to bed. And Suarez, what type of World Cup is he going to have? Whether it's going to be the handball against Ghana, the Chiellini situation in 2014, and this might be his final World Cup as well. He's had a great career of that. They had a good run in 2010. Don't forget when Diego Forlan came to the party.
Yes.
He got the golden ball as well and finished joint top goal scorer as well. I'm just looking at the draw. It suits them a lot. This is an underrated side for me. Okay, it's in Europe, but I think this South American side can go pretty well in this tournament.
There we go. Uruguay, Steve's fancy, the big price, 33 to 1, I think, on the last two. Let's go to Ray Parlour, of course, who man, he probably should have played in the World Cup a few years ago. We won't talk about that now, though.
I wish I never had long hair.
Ray, great to see you here on the Free Super preview. I mean, we've talked about some of the big names, but anybody amongst the bigger prices that have caught your eye this time around?
I think everybody will be looking at someone like Croatia. I know they really struggled in the qualifying, to go via the playoffs. But I just look at their squad and it's a lot of quality. I love Modric, the way he plays in midfield. I think he's such a super player. He's had a great season at Real Madrid. Rakitic we know about as well in there. Mandzukic up front. So they've got good players and again, lots of experience. I think
and if Argentina are sort of underperforming, they're in their group, aren't they? So there's a chance they could get through that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at their group, I can see them definitely at least coming second in that group and qualifying, obviously, if I'm going to tip them. But it's a team that, again, experience is going to play a major part. They can get that experience with a few youngsters. They could go a long way.
40 to 1 currently.
Yeah, 40 to 1. I'm going back to the Davor Suker days when he was playing for them, and
I've still got Croatia
magnificent.
Shirt from
he ended up coming top goal scorer, I think, in one of them. So
still fits me that shirt.
And I think that they're they've nearly been there. I think a lot of people will be tipping them as probably a good, decent price outsider to maybe go all the way.
Okay, Croatia then gets Ray Parlour's votes. Let's go to Dean Goddard from Free Super Tips, a face I'm sure you know very well, regular watchers of the website. Dean, you've gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. What do you fancy as a team to go a long way at a big price?
Yeah, well, we like Croatia as well.
Been copying Ray's notes?
No, echo everything he says, though. They've got a fantastic squad, strength all along. Modric, Rakitic, Perisic in midfield, fantastic. But we've gone for Portugal as our best outsiders. We think that winning the Euros is going to lift a lot of pressure off the side, and specifically Ronaldo himself. He, like Messi, didn't want to retire, not having won one of these big ones for his country. Now he can go out there and enjoy himself a bit more. They've also got a really talented young striker, Andre Silva. They've sort of shifted their team around in recent years, haven't they, to fill that void. They've had Ronaldo playing up front, Nani's up front. If Andre Silva gets off to a good start and they can have Ronaldo in his usual position on the wing, we think they're going to go deep. They would play the Group A, depends where they finish in their group, but they're going to meet someone from Group A in the second round, so Uruguay, Egypt, Russia, beatable. If they could top their group, which obviously they're in against Spain, they could even be up against Croatia or Denmark in the quarters, which no disrespect to either of them, but you'd be looking at a harder draw in the quarterfinals. So for Portugal, for us, they've got a nice mix of youth and experience. Bernardo Silva, Andre Gomez in midfield, and then you've got the likes of Pepe, Jose Font, Martino, those sort of players.
I mean, they're towards their end of their career, now, aren't they? And the little bit that puts me off there is the fact that they had to go to the final group game, a winner-takes-all game, where they won, admittedly. we talked about Argentina's reliance on Messi. Ronaldo has missed 2 competitive games since 2014, and they've lost both of them. Anything happens to him.
Yeah, but they did. He came off after about 10
No, that's
minutes in the
correct.
final,
Yeah,
and they
yes.
still won it.
Yeah.
Against
But-
France, didn't they?
Yeah, but
So
but
obviously,
how many
you know,
games did they?
Yeah.
How many games did they draw there? I mean, and how many teams
Yeah.
did they beat? Okay, they won. So who cares? You know, they won it. I just think they're. Listen, that's just my point of view.
Yeah.
That they are short enough and a bit aging as well. I know they're mixing it up a bit. I think that they're a lay for me. And I'd
25 to 1, I think you are.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
5.
And I would even be as bold as to say I could back them maybe not to get out of the group.
Really?
Would you?
Morocco could sneak
5.
through in second place behind Spain.
Maybe.
11 to 2, I think they'll to qualify Morocco, aren't they, from that group? So there's a big shout. Just going back to Croatia, Steve, 33 to 1, I think you are to win it.
Yes, we are. You know, as the guys said, they've got some big name players there, play for some big clubs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's always seems to be a bit of an issue with Croatia as well. Hopefully they don't implode, or there's a dressing room together, and because they are certainly capable, the quality of play that they have to go far, and I think the group suits as well. So why not? I certainly wouldn't put people back in them off at a fair old price.
New manager as well, though, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He's just been appointed just
Yes, he
for the
has,
last 2 games. So, again, the players want to impress him, and I just think they could be decent outsiders. And what was it, 3rd in '98, were they?
Yes.
Come
Yeah.
3rd in '98.
Yeah, they were.
Obviously there. But
Like a goal, looks like here that they scored 15 goals in qualifying. I suppose Mandouchis would have got a lot of those
He's
as
a
well.
main man, really,
yes,
yeah.
so and he's a very good team player as well. Plays out of position for his club as well. So the gaffer taking over the game to go. They won versus the Ukraine. I'm hopeful for a big performance of that.
Okay. Changed your mind with what Steve said about you stick with Portugal?
No, not at all.
No, because in fact he's gone double. He's had a press up.
that's why I'm in the middle of this.
I want to mention one other team, Steve. I want to get your thoughts first of all on them. What about Colombia? 40 to 1, I think they are, aren't they, to win it? Obviously reliant on James Rodriguez a bit, aren't they? He had a wonderful World Cup, didn't he, 4 years ago? But performances recently for Bayern Munich suggest that
Very
he's coming
much.
back to the boil, isn't he?
And a massive advantage here for travelling. I'm interested in Ray's thoughts on this. The group stage, they travelled the least amount of miles. They travelled 750 miles for the 3 games, which means they can't walk there, obviously. But if you look at some of the other teams who are going 4,000, 5,000 kilometres, that this is a big advantage.
Yeah, it would be.
Getting back to the hotel, eting a lot easier, sleeping a lot easier as well, instead of all these flights for hours on end. This will suit a lot.
Brazil was very similar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the last World Cup, when a lot of travelling was involved. But yeah, I mean, it does come into consideration probably.
And they lost, did they, to Brazil, I think, 4 years ago, didn't they, the hosts? So it wasn't a disgrace that they lost to them in, I think it was the quarterfinals. We've got to
Falcao as well. He's back from.
Years.
Yeah, so they've got a good side,
But
Colombia.
they could get England as well, which is that in a good sign if you're tipping them to go a long way.
Yeah.
It's not good for the English fans.
No,
We've got to mention England, haven't we, for outright as well? I mean, obviously we'll come to them later on how far they get on, but do they fit into sort of an outsiders? I guess they do. They're outside the big 6. To win, what price are they to win it, Steve? Still about 20s, are they, England to win?
England, they are. What are they? They are 18 to 1 with Bet365.
Have you left a 0 off the end of that by mistake?
They'll go farther than Portugal.
You think?
As I feel a back.
That's a no. That's a no.
I want at least 2 to 1 though. No, of course.
We'll
I'm
discuss that over a pint.
or 3. I like what Gareth Southgate is doing. I've got to say, this England side, I think the expectation isn't going to be as high. I know it's tough to. It was different in Ray's day.
You're looking more Euros probably in 2 years' time, maybe.
Listen, I'm expecting quarter-final at maximum here, maybe last 16 as normal. But I just like the way that he's slowly but surely getting rid of the deadwood, getting rid of the players that you look at and think, Christ, his legs have gone. What the hell's he doing? But he picks them week in, week out. Or game tournaments or whatever. He's bold enough. People think that Gareth Southgate is his quiet, suited yes man who just bows to everybody like that. According to reports, he's taking some bold decisions with his England squad.
Well, the system's going to be important. Whether they can get this
Three-
right at the
yeah,
three
the
at
three
the
at the
back.
back.
It looks like it was a good performance in Holland when they played. I know
Yeah.
Holland were really poor, but then Holland went and beat Portugal 3-0. So,
Yeah, of course they did. And they're not conceding goals. They've played some big teams, and it's only that Italian penalty late on in near injury time that England have conceded.
I'm looking at
recently.
pace for England. Pace is going to be so important from up front. If you play Rashford, Sterling, on either side of Harry Kane, then
Yeah,
they
there
can
is
pull him
balance
behind a
there.
little bit.
Yeah.
They can pull him behind a bit.
I think they'll be okay. I think
All
they're
right,
going to
we'll
qualify
discuss,
the
we'll
group, no
discuss them
problem.
in depth, I think, a bit later on. But we've got to finalise our selections now in terms of the best outside. I think we've got the idea of it. Steve, Uruguay, very confident.
Uruguay for me, Anthony. I think they can go very, very far. I'm not saying at 33-1 they're going to win it, but I think they can get to the final.
Okay. Ray,
I'm going to
Croatia.
go Croatia. I just think they've got a little bit of experience. Again, a lot of these guys thinking this could be my last World Cup. Let's really turn up this one.
Okay. Dean, despite Steve's reservations,
Yeah,
Portuguese.
we're sticking with Portugal, but again, we really like Croatia as well.
Okay, I'm going to go with Colombia. I like what the guy said, and I do think James Rodriguez is going to have a great tournament. I thought 40-1, 50-1 in the place could be a big prize. So there's 4 names for you. Steve Freeth going with Uruguay, Ray Parlour with Croatia, Dean Goddard is going with Portugal. I'm going to go with Colombia as the lively outsiders for the World Cup 2018.